Hey everyone, good afternoon. Ryan Tonking from the Black Room here. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. I was doing a little bit of review this weekend, logging this last week's trades, and I wanted to do a video on the topic consistency because I know that was something that I was really desperately trying to go after, consistency and profits, when I started trading. And what I found, which is what I want to talk about, is once my trades got consistent, then my P&L did as well. All right, so in the beginning, I think I was kind of putting the cart before the horse a little bit and just looking for consistent income, which I think is what a lot of people are looking for. But once I shifted the focus on my trades and found consistency in the trades that I took, then the P&L took care of itself. All right, so that's what this video is going to be about, and we're going to look at the last week's trades that I took. I had a good week last week. I just snuck into my weekly goal, which is 10 hours a week, and I think I was at I wrote down 10 and a half. I didn't add it up yet, but so just snuck into my weekly goal, which I was really happy with, given that it was a slow week. Although yesterday in the Black Room was pretty busy and we had a lot of good stuff, but overall it was somewhat a slow week. I think I took 14 trades, I believe, because I played the FNSR twice on two different days. So I think there was 14 altogether. So I wanted to go, and these are the trades that I took, right? So here's my trade log. We'll go back the last 7 days, okay? And these are the trades that I took. So I can scroll through here. You can look at this later if you want, but I just wanted to show you guys that the charts that we're looking at are the only trades that I took. So we have the CF, SCHW, TOL. Okay, so this K was a, we can look at it, but it was a nice breakdown later. But this was a accidental order where I went to put an order, sell stop order in, and I ended up selling at it wasn't a stop order, and so I exited. So I made a massive 80 cents or something there. So the K, SJM, EXAS was here, PSTG, which I took a full stop on. There was another one I took a full stop on, SCHW, and a bunch of really nice winners. With this CTL, low, FNSR, and I believe this was FNSR down here the next day on the 23rd. Okay, this SPY, I didn't carry this over. I was having issues with my platform. So I bought and sold one share, which was just, I was testing my platform because I was having issues with that. So the SPY I didn't carry over. The LB is over there. ABM here. HIBB, and the ACIA. Okay? So those are all the trades that I took. All right? So let's close this, and I'll move this out of the way. And okay. All right, so I'm not going to have time. It would take a really long time to look at the intraday patterns and setups and do an entire breakdown. All right. I did do that on the EXAS. We had a really nice trade. There were a couple other trades that I took, I forget, in the Facebook videos of this last week. But what we are going to focus in on is the daily chart, right? Just because primarily it's a time restraint, and it would take me a while to break down all of these trades, 13, 14 trades. All right, so I'm going to make this chart a little bit bigger here, right? We're going to look at the daily chart, and what we're going to start with is I posed a question in the description, which was, if you showed someone else your recent trades, would they be able to find any consistency? All right, so if I were to take my wife, who's not a trader, and I were to show her a picture of a bunch of daily charts of all the trades that I took, would she be able to find any consistency in it? She's not a trader, but would anything stand out to her, right? And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because in the beginning of my trading, I was all over the map, right? And yes, some of the stuff that I do, especially when we get down into taking entries, is really specific. But I think for most people, definitely for me, there are some things that just stand out right away. And as far as consistency, and what that is I like to play professional gaps. All right. There's a couple other things that I play strategy wise. If they all take place inside a professional gap, I like them even more. But I like to play professional gaps. So what we're going to look through, I believe there's only one. We'll find out. But I believe the CF was the only trade. When I was on the mic, I said I was going to play this long, and it wasn't a professional gap. But there was a reason why, and it falls into another strategy, which we'll talk about. So what I want to do is I just want to run through these and look at when I played them and what was going on the daily chart, just to show that there is some consistency to what I take. Actually, as far as the daily chart, there's a lot of consistency to what I take, but overwhelmingly consistency of what I take. And that was a huge turning point in my career when I started to develop consistency on trades that I took. All right, so this was the SCHW. Took this at the open. It was a 1-2-3. I think I covered this in an earlier Black Room video. What was this? Professional gap down. Was gapping underneath this space here. We had this support to deal with. It got to a target 1. I didn't take half the position because it got there really quickly, and I ended up taking a full stop on this. All right, so that was the SCHW. What was this? Professional gap down, right? We're gapping below this space. Never ended up breaking this area of support here, so it ended up neutral, green on the day, but it was a professional gap down. All right, next trade, SJM. I believe this was a professional gap down. Yes, professional gap down right here. This is when I took it, SJM. It was later in the day. We had broke this, and we were trending on the 5-minute. I took a 5-minute sell setup later in the day. This is when I took it, the SJM. Right, I should have, so this was a professional gap down, wide range bar here. Took the CTL short, right here, CTL, professional gap down on the 22nd here, right? The FNSR. I should have, well, here, I can do this. I should have wrote down the days. Let's just put these markers on. And here, FNSR. Okay, so FNSR played this short here on this day, the 22nd, was a professional gap down under this green bar here, right? Strong uptrend, had a pro gap down. I believe I shorted this on I believe this was a morning breakdown. Also played it the next day as a pro gap up. And it looks like I didn't really make anything on it on the FNSR, but I think I played on the 5-minute chart later today. Also, let's go back here. When was this? This was a couple months ago, right? FNSR. What was this? This was a gap down that got bought, so this was a gap bully here, right? So we had a gap down, got bought. Looks like I played this a long couple times here. May have added to the position, but also looks like that worked out pretty well, but this was a gap bully here. All right, next trade, LB. The LB, okay, we even got more examples here. I'm glad I put these markers on here. LB was a pro gap down here, played it short. Looks like I may have added to this as well, and I believe that I played this at the open. Really nice professional gap under this space, though. Also played it back here, 7-12. What was this? Professional gap down. I either took this right at the open and got shaken out of it, or I took this on a 5-minute trend. Either way, it was a professional gap down. It doesn't look like I captured too much, if any, of the move, but it was a professional gap down. Let's go back here. This is a gap bully. We had a pro gap down, got bought, entered long. Looks like I probably took half, and then the back half ended up stopping out, something like that, right? But as far as daily chart, this was a pro gap down that got bought. All right, ABM. ABM was a what was this? I don't remember the ABM. Oh, ABM. Yeah, I do remember this. I called this short here, and we took a break-even trade on this. Yeah, because this was an official call. I called this short, stop up here, and we just couldn't break through the support. So we ended up taking a break-even trade on that, on the ABM. And, okay. HIBB. This was a really nice trade on Friday. Mentioned in the black room. I think Sammy actually had an official call on this as well. This is always fun when you capture when you get short at the open and capture pretty much the whole candle. That's always fun. We had the same thing on the EXAS that I called a couple days ago. But pro gap down, right? Really nice pro gap down. All right, so daily chart, pro gap down, nice wide range bar. ACIA played this short, another professional gap down, and this was a morning breakdown trade, continuation of the 5-minute trend. Only made about an R on this. The other thing that I want to note is that if we look at the days that I'm playing, we're also having some pretty big ranges on the day, right? This was a pro gap up. I got skipped on the breakout on this. But look to play that the day before as well. Okay, CF. Let's continue here. Okay, CF was a. This was, I mentioned this on the mic. Got a nice target one. The back half ended up trailing roughly about break even. But the reason why I played this was because we had this pro gap. We did do a daily buy setup here, and this had relative strength to the market, and we were triggering a nice daily buy setup here. So that's why I ended up playing that. So that falls into the relative strength, relative weakness category on a stock that's triggering a daily buy setup in a weekly, daily, and monthly uptrend. Okay? TOL. TOL was actually a mistake. Not the larger, because it was a professional gap up, but the intraday pattern was a mistake. But it was a professional gap up here, right? Breaking this long-term trend. Played short back here too. This was a pro gap down. I'd probably play this later in the day on the 5-minute chart. Actually, I think I remember that, and that was a pretty good trade on the 5-minute chart later in the day. But what was it? Professional gap down. EXAS. This was the trade that we got in 1 minute into the market open, and I actually got out the last quarter when I was live doing a Facebook video, which was 1 minute before the market closed. So this was an all-day hold. Professional gap up here, right? Island reversal, pro gap up. PSTG. Let's see. PSTG played short back here, pro gap down. Looks like I took a stop on it. Don't know what size, but didn't make any money on it. Same thing here. Play this a pro gap up. Oh, this was I call this official. This was a really nice pattern. Just didn't work. I believe it was on the 1 minute chart. Really nice breakout on this. Was up about an R, but ended up failing. And when was this? Oh yeah, right here. Played this breakout right here. Long stop down here. It was really nice. We had this shakeout just before we triggered, retested, continued higher, but took a stop on it. That was the other. I think I took 2 full stops this week. But professional gap up here, right? Last trade, LOW, pro gap up. Played it up back here before. Wow, that was a really nice professional gap up. Oh, I remember this. This was a really nice professional gap up, and I got shaken out of this. Also played this back here too, twice, pro gap up, because I remember this did 2 really nice professional gap ups, and I made some money on this one, but I wasn't able to make anything on this, and that was a really nice. I mean, that's really pretty, especially over this base, and I believe this gave an entry in the morning. But as far as consistency, daily charts, we're playing pro gap ups here, right? Pro gap ups, that's what we're playing. Took a 5-minute buy setup on this, and it triggered and then failed. Market came in, and I think I took a break-even trade on it on the LOW. But daily chart professional gap ups, right? Also, I'm going after stuff. When we get these nice pro gap ups, we get a really nice range, right? Back here, we get a really nice range. Here, we didn't. We didn't get any follow through. But the pro gap ups, we get really nice ranges. EXAS, really nice range on the daily chart, right? What else do we have here? Oh, the HIBB had really nice gap down, and the daily chart had a really nice range as well, right? Which is why I'm going after that. So the reason why I wanted to go through this was to show you guys, one, that there's consistency in the stuff that I go after, right? We just flipped through some daily charts of all the trades that I took. There's consistency of stuff that I go after. Two, even though it's a slow time, there's definitely opportunities out there. We got some really nice gaps. So there's still opportunity in slow times to make money. Three, if you go after trades and your trades are consistent and they are aligned with an edge, then you can see consistency in your P&L. Right? I think I took only 2 full stops this last week, which it was a good week this last week for the amount of trades that I had. We only took 14 trades, right, and only had 2 full stops. So that was really good. Traded really well, and there was opportunity, right? So the consistency in what I was going after, consistency as far as the top-down approach, as far as the daily chart, led to the consistency in my P&L, right? So I just really encourage you guys to go back and look at your trades, because when I started trading, I'd be trading on this day right here when I first started trading. And I'd be like, well, this had some relative strength to the market, right? Or I'd be trading on one of these days in here. And so one of the best things that I did for my trading was, and for me, it started with the top-down approach, is I went to the daily chart, and when I take a day trade, that's the first thing that I look at. Well, depending on what I'm doing, I'm either looking at an intraday pattern, but the first chart I look for confirmation is the daily chart. That's what I go towards, because I saw a huge change in my trading, positive change, when I just focused on, for me, professional gaps, because that's where my edge was really strong. So I just wanted to show you guys some consistency of the trades that I took, and that this is really beneficial. And if you're struggling with consistency, just pick something like I did, and I went with the daily chart and said, let's refine some of this, because I'm not seeing any I wasn't seeing any positive results trading all over the map, so let's get a little bit refined. And then even deeper than this, what we teach at the classes here and what we talk about in the black room is we talk about the entry patterns, the exit strategies, and stuff like that, right? Which is a whole nother scope of trading. But as far as the daily chart, this is where my consistency starts, right? If I'm going after stuff that has consistency on the daily chart, all right? So as always, I hope you guys stay in process and stay focused, stay disciplined, and consistency will come out of that. All right? Hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and I will talk to you guys on Monday. Thanks all.